Now tonight we revisit the issue of the Tana Delta clashes. A KTN team went to the region in a quest to find out the aftermath of the clashes, which left over 100 people dead and many displaced.
Well, relative calm has returned to the region, which saw deadly tribal fighting between pastoralists and farming communities. Although the GSU has quelled the clashes, the KTN team found that the wounds have not yet healed.
Here is KTN's Kathryn, who was in the Tana Delta and filed this report.
Thirty-year-old Medina Mathe, once a mother of 5, sits outside what she now calls home, careful not to move her arm, which is still healing from an attack 8 weeks ago. She and her 2 surviving children, who never leave her sight, are among the 1,000 survivors of the Reketa massacre who are now camped at Didewaride. Here they have little to do but to relive the violence that pushed them out of their homes. The dark day was the 22nd of August 2012. Medina thought it was just another day in Reketa, a pastoralist village in the Tana Delta, but it was a day that would change her life forever. At the time, Medina was with 3 of her 5 children. Out of the 52 people who died that day, most were women and children. It was a bloody revenge attack after 4 people were killed in Kau and over 50 houses burnt down on the 17th of August, only days before the Reketa massacre. When the clashes broke out in Reketa and Kilelengwani, the victims ran here to Didewaride, where they sought refuge, and families took them in. And now the houses behind me and around me hold more than 4 families. After all, they say there is safety in numbers. It's a statement that most of the victims here repeat, especially the women who have lost those they love and now must observe the Islamic tradition of Etha, a mourning period of 4 months and 10 days. They tell us that every day they pray for God to help them forgive their aggressors. For some, the Almighty has answered. But for others, not yet.
Mimi siwezi kusamehe. Pengine sijui ni binadamu. Pengine uchungu taweza ikikaa pengine muda, lakini hata baada ya miaka 20 umri yangu pengine mimi siwezi kutoa kwa roho yangu.
Across Tana Delta, in an internally displaced persons camp in Tarasa, we meet Maureen Anyango, a mother of 1, collecting her daily rations from an Action Aid facility. She's 8 months pregnant and fears that she will give birth to her 2nd child in this tattered tent.
Nakana wasiwasi manake hujui waweza kujifunguaje na hali ya hizi shida pesa pia.
But she would rather brave the indignity of an IDP camp than return to her home in Semikaro, where armed gunmen descended on residents, killing 3 and burning down 200 homes on the 11th of September.
Sababu ukienda kule waweza kurudi vizuri, kaona hakuna wasiwasi, lakini usiku huwezi kujua wamepanga nini.
Even before the country has settled its internally displaced persons from the 2007-2008 political clashes, it must now deal with at least 15,000 displaced persons scattered across the Tana Delta. And yet residents say the warning signs were there.
Walioharibu ni serikali ndio iliharibu. Kama ingekuwa mwanzo akianza ile maneno, ile mambo tunaweza kupelekea ripoti, kama ingechukua kiserikali ingekuwa hakuna vita. Lakini wameacha wale serikali mpaka mambo yameharibika, ndio sasa ndio wanaanza kuleta majeshi. Yani ulete majeshi, si angewacha tu kana majeshi yao wakatuacha.
A commission of inquiry headed by Justice Grace Nzioka was set up to look into the grievances and find a lasting solution to the decade-long animosity between the Orma and the Pokoma communities. But residents say it's too little too late. The damage has already been done.
Yani imani yangu vile ilivyo, kama sisi na wale watu tutatoka mbalimbali, suluhisho itapatikana, lakini kama hatuweki mbalimbali, hatuwezi kupata suluhisho, sababu wao wako na ile kumufanya mkulima sio mtu wa maana.
Sina nia ya kusamehe. Manake mtu amekata mtoto wangu saizi hii, tena mwanamke ambaye ucheza tu ujui vita ni nini, imeifanya hivi.
What makes members of both communities even more uneasy is the fear that the ongoing disarmament program by the General Service Police Unit has not been successful.
Na hizo bunduki haramu kutoka siku ile mpaka leo hakuna bunduki imetoka, na kama ikizidi sana hata zimetoka hazijafika 50. Na wao wanasema sisi turudi kule. Hatujakataa, kama turudi kule ni kwetu. Tutarudi vipi hizo bunduki kama hazichukuliwa?
The Tana Delta is dominated by two communities, the Pokomo and the Orma. The Pokomo, who are farmers, say they must plant to feed their families, and the Orma, who are pastoralists, must keep their cattle alive. And this is what sparked clashes in 2001 and every year since then.
Sababu vita vyote ni shamba na ng'ombe. Na ule ng'ombe hana hatia, mwenye hatia ni ule mtu. Maana anapiga makusudi analeta kwa shamba. Kweli waweza kubali? Wewe umelima, umepanda mpaka karibu chakula unatia ng'ombe unalisha. Na ukimwambia jauri moja kwa moja. Sasa yeye mwenye ng'ombe anakutoa jauri. Je, wenye mali uliharibiwa utakuwaje?
Kama mmemfanya chuki au amezozana kajambo kidogo, atasema kama hawa tuko na kisasi, lakini hatuna kisasi yoyote. Sisi nakaa na amani.
The Tana Delta is no longer rich in resources. It's an area prone to both famine and floods. The little one can get is a blessing, or in this case, a curse. Kathryn, Omwandho, KTN.